Hey everybody, we're back here with another Nerdcore interview. Today we are here with the amazing SailorUrLove.
Hello, I'm SailorUrLove.
As I've said, I think I've said this in the other videos, I'm trying to encompass as many different aspects of the Nerdcore community with these interviews. So we'll have artists, we'll have reactors, fans, even producers, things like that, just so we get a viewpoint from every aspect. Originally this interview idea was purely to ask Wave about his album, but I've grown it from there.
There you go.
We're a little nosy.
Yeah, we can be. Speaking of nosy, Sailor, what got you into singing? Were you a choir kid or?
Choir kid. Oh, so I sang. I mean, I remember like growing up, like being younger and singing all the time, and my parents always wanted me to like go and like pursue stuff, but I like hated everyone and I didn't want to be in choir. And then one day, it was 8th grade. I had gotten to a new school in 6th grade and I hated everybody because they were all bullies. And I just didn't really want to like I don't know, I just didn't want to be a part of anything. And then I remember 8th grade I got into choir because I needed an elective and I didn't want to do like whatever else they were offering. So I got into choir and I like was very like quiet. I didn't really want to have anyone know because I knew I was a good singer and I didn't really want anyone else to know that because I didn't want to be put on the spot. So I would like try to like not sing. And then I remember my choir teacher, who is now like another mother to me, by the way, we're very close. She was like, I just feel like you're not being very loud. Like, can you be a little louder? And then finally I was like, oh my God, fuck it. And so I sang and she was pissed because she was like, what the fuck? She's like, you've been in my class like for this last year and I had no idea you were this talented. And then from that point on, she gave me like almost every freaking solo that she could. And I had to perform these solos on stage. And then I just kind of like opened up. And then we actually ended up in high school. We put together a rock band class where we all like learned a specific instrument. We put together our own band. And so I learned guitar and I was most of the time just lead singer for a band behind me. And that's kind of where I grew my confidence in performing, was during that rock band class, because we would get in the summertime, we would get hired to do weddings and stuff. And so from there on out, I just kind of became like a performer. It just kind of came naturally after that.
Okay, so that kind of leads into the next question, which is, you know, like I said, you know, before the interview, the first time I heard you on Divide's Hinata song, and I don't know, I think it was Shobati doing a reaction at the time, because it was before we did reactions, said, because I think at the time he hadn't heard of you either, and he was like, I think this is Divide's friend or something, and I love the song. How did you, get onto that song, but two, like, get into kind of nerdcore as a whole?
So, me and Divide were living in the same town, and we just happened to come along the same Craigslist ad for a band. They needed a vocalist, so I got into the band first. I sent them some stuff from SoundCloud, and they were like, they're like, oh my God, we've been looking for a female vocalist. Where have you been? Because I really like singing rock. Yeah, so. I joined this band, and then like a few weeks later we needed a guitarist, and they found Divide, or Alex. So we met through a Craigslist ad, and then after that, shortly like within the year, we kind of like separated from that band. It just wasn't really working out, but me and Alex stayed pretty close. And so I remember the first song I was ever on, I believe for him, was his Moira song.
Okay.
From the game that I always
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
Yes, yeah. Overwatch. And it was like, he's like, yes, I'm like trying this new thing. And I was like, okay. So he's like, I really need a female vocalist. Will you come sing this? And I was like, sure. I did his Moira song. And then after that, everyone was like, oh my God, so good. Like, who is this? And then I remember I was on a Doki Doki song for him. And then Try Hard Ninja reached out to him and was like, dude, who sang this Doki Doki song for you? Like, I really want to get her on a song. Is there any way that you can get her to record in your studio and send it my way? So then I did Try Hard Ninja's Doki Doki song, which has like an insanely amount of views. I had no idea who he was at the time. I had no idea what nerdcore was. Like, Divide introduced me to all of this. And so I did that. And then I think I did another feature for Try Hard Ninja as well. And then after that, my YouTube channel, I hadn't put anything on it for like at that point I had like a couple covers of me playing guitar and stuff. But my YouTube went up to like over 1,000 subscribers and I didn't even do anything. And I was like, I should really like get into this genre. And so I did, like, and then Divide helped me kind of get into it and like told me what I needed. He told me the equipment I should get to start up. And at that point, I was actually moving, so I moved away from him. But right before we moved away, we did the Kingdom Hearts song. And so in that part, he actually let me write most of that track, which usually does not happen with him. So it was really fun because we both were able to contribute to writing that song, and it kind of had a lot to do with like my life at the time of like moving, and I just got out of a breakup and I was moving back home, and it was like all these emotions, and that was like the first thing I got to do after my breakup and the last thing I did before I moved away. So it was like really fun. And then after that, I literally moved here and I didn't start my YouTube channel until COVID hit, and I got laid off for 3 months, and I kind of just decided this is like the time to do it. So I've only been doing it for about 1.5 years now, I think, maybe a little over 1.5 years.
I think it's been about 2 years since COVID hit now.
Yeah,
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I think I got laid off in August of 2019.
20. Yeah, it'd be 20. I don't know.
Yeah, so I started it then, and that's when I did that hero song, and I had like the minimalist equipment ever, and so it was like, and I was just learning to produce, and I remember I was always calling Divide. I was like, how do I do this? What did I do wrong? Like, how do I do this? Like, for the longest time, he probably like was so hassled by me. But yeah, that's kind of what started all this.
Okay.
He really got me into it. I was very inspired by the art.
Thank you, Divide.
I've always looked up to him as an artist and as a friend, and then when I saw what he was doing, I was just like, oh my god, I need to do this. Like, so that's how it happened.
Alrighty. That was okay. I'm more involved than I thought I was gonna be.
Yeah. Well, and then the Hinata song was like the first song I recorded here. And he had like, and I was such a noob at all this. The first time I sent him my vocals, he was like, no, this is all wrong. It sounds awful. Hold on. You changed everything. And I was like, okay, sorry. I don't know what you want me to do. And so he resent it to me and like told me more specific on how he wanted me to sing it. And then I sang it and it was fine. But the first time he was like, no, like, what are you doing with your life? Like, I was like, but it was really fun because it was like the first feature. He was like the first feature I was on, which was cool as like my own producer, my own musician on my own house.
Because I know on that song, I think you were on the song with Fable as well.
Yes, yeah, he did the second verse. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, I've heard in the past, and I'm not meaning this like in a mean way or anything, but I know I've heard in the past that Fable he writes his own hooks. You don't touch Fable's hooks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was an NLJ stream. He's like, oh, I got this hook. You can sing it. He's like, no, I'll write it.
Yeah.
But I kind of get that. Fable is kind of he's very perfectionist, and I understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I try to do mine the same way too. Like I like writing my own verses and hooks. Even if I don't know the character, I will do the studying to write my own. Just because there's been, I think, 2 or 3 songs that I've sang for people that have written it for me, and it doesn't hit the same. It's not the same. It's not the same emotion.
No.
Yeah, you don't have the same like connection to that song, unfortunately. So
that
I
makes
really
a lot of
try to
sense.
write my stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And then this was something from the comments. A couple of people that are subscribed to us wanted to ask this. If you had to pick, I know it's kind of on the spot, top 5 in the community artists.
For artists?
Yeah, I know you already said Zach B is like, and Kevin Bennett are right up here. So
it would be Divide, Zach B, Kevin Bennett. This is really hard.
it can be.
Fable. And Holla.
Okay. I do enjoy Holla.
There's a lot of other artists that I love.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, that's the thing. Oh, one of our alarms went off. I was like, what the hell was that? No, I was gonna say like all the top 10s and stuff. Mine my orders switch. That's why I just do, here's 10 of them. I'm not going to put them in order. But even then, they switch out constantly.
I'd rather do it like by if I had to pick top 10, I would rather do it by top 10 songs and not artists because I love all the artists, but songs are constantly changing. So like I have like my certain top 10 songs that I just always listen to for like months on end.
Oh yeah. Like right now I think for instance like Sine Wave, I jump between, I love this new Singularity song, but I still love Null like and Shell from the album like constantly. Or like Zach B. I still love his Change Your Heart song with Divide, just because I'm a Persona nut.
Yeah, no, him, Zach and Kevin have a song, Who I Am, together, and by far that's like probably my favorite song in the community. Like it's been my favorite song since it released.
Give me just a quick second. Where the hell's my phone?
I don't know.
We both have alarms right next to each other. Sorry about that, everyone. We both have alarms for the same thing, but for whatever reason, when I set up mine, it's a minute later.
It's so that you can make sure I did.
Oh, that's right.
The alarm is so that I can take my pills, because I have a really bad habit of not
And then just in case you forget, he has one set so he remembers.
Yep. Just ask me if I did.
So, but yeah, no, picking a favorite artist is, I did find it interesting going from asking Otaku Don and Otaku Ren that question to asking you. A lot of similarities, but you also have a little bit more singing in there than rapping. And I find that interesting, because I know you've mentioned you're not the biggest fan of rap in general, but...
I mean, it has to be the right artist, yeah, because it has to be a rap artist that... I can't listen to the kind of rap that is just, like, constant hits and constant bars. Like, it has to have emotion behind it, or I just cannot click with it. So that's why, like, Zach B and Kevin Bennett are definitely, like, my top rappers, just because they have that emotion with every track that they put out.
I would say Fable as well, but...
Yes, Fable's good, but I don't really consider him, like, all rap, you know what I
No,
mean?
because
Like,
he does singing, rock, you know, he does the scream.
Yeah, he does it all. So I think, like, rapping-wise, Zach and Kevin are, like, my top, and it's just because they have that emotion behind them. I mean, I listen to a lot of the rappers in the community, but it has to be just the right song. I might not like all their songs, but whereas, like, Zach and Kevin, I like all of their songs. And it also, I mean, is who contributes to the hook. You know, the hook is huge, too, and, like, especially Zach, he doesn't do all of his own hooks, so whoever he decides to pick for that hook, typically, like, that's kind of what nails the song for me, the collab together. And same with Kevin, but bottom line is, like, there's no song that they put out that I don't like, so that's why they're definitely in the top. And then Divide's in the top just because, like, the same reason, like, every song that they put out I love. I've never heard a song from Divide that I don't like. He's just always on par. So
Divide either gets me hyped as hell or makes me want to cry.
Yep.
There is no in between.
No in between. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't realize I had been listening to...
Yeah, so apparently so interestingly enough, we have both been listening to this scene a lot longer than we thought. We were going, you know, we would go through our Spotify and a song from before would come up. Like, for instance, for me, I have Lolia's Persona 5 cover album, and Game Boy's on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, doing a rap. And I was looking at that, I'm like, holy shit. And then for her, through a couple things, she had a song from Fable back when he was doing a lot of video game raps.
Yep.
And Divide's Subnautica song when he was still just Divide.
Which is so funny because I think that's the song that actually got onto the game.
Yeah, it is. Yes. It is. It's really cool.
Yeah. You can play it on the jukebox, and that's what I would have playing the entire time I'd be playing Subnautica. So.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, and we'd been listening to, you know, JT Music and them before we got really into the community. So we've kind of always been listening, but not as intently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. It's always good to have like an artist where like you can listen to, and that's what I like about this whole genre is like you can listen to these songs without even like realizing what it's about. You just are vibing with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a lot of those tracks that you can do that with.
Vibes.
I did want to say, because the original reason I asked to do the interview was congrats on 10K subs. I don't know where you're at now because it's been a little bit since then because we took our break and everything.
I'm 50 away from 11,000, so we're
well, congrats.
Thank you.
Well deserved, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the artist side, and I didn't ask Signwave these questions because we were more focusing on his album. When you make a song, what would you say is the easiest and the hardest part of the process?
Well, the hardest part of the process for me was producing, but now that I pay someone to do that, I'm not going to include that because I just got to the point where it was just I didn't have the time to try to produce. The mixing and mastering is just so difficult. Like you have to be really talented to do that, and you have to have a lot of time to practice to get good at that, and I just do not have that right now. I think the easiest part for me is writing. I've always been a really fast writer. Most of the songs that you hear on my channel, I write and record in like 2 to 3 hours. And it's because I make my beats. A lot of people, because I put produced by Gustavo, they always think that he makes the beats, but I make the beats. I send it to him, and then he just mixes and masters everything because he's amazing at it, and I am not. So I make the beat, and I already, like, as I'm forming the beat, I'm figuring out who this character is for. So a lot of times people will make the beat knowing who they want it to be for. And most of the time, that's not how I work. Most of the time I make the beat and I start thinking, I'm like, okay, like this sounds like this could definitely fit this person's character. Like this sounds, really emotional. So this would be perfect for this person. And as I'm making the beat, I already kind of have like an idea of what I want to write for that character. So I think that's definitely the easiest is just writing.
Okay.
I think the most difficult for me, let's see, it would have to be like I'm kind of a perfectionist about what I want my voice to sound like, so I probably record way too many times. So I think the hardest part is having to take multiple takes and like getting that right tone of my voice that I want, because there will be times where like I have to just take a break and walk away and come back later because I am so tired of it sounding a certain way. And it's like the littlest things too. Like there will be one part of my voice where I'm like, why can't I do the same thing that I literally just did on this take? Like I need 2 more takes doing this. Why can't I find that? And for some reason you just get to a point where you're just like exhausted of the fact that you can't do it, so you have to just take a break. And I think that's probably the hardest part is having to get the right notes in certain times and like not sounding how you want to sound. It's definitely the most frustrating part for sure.
Okay, that's fair.
And if I asked that to somebody else, they'd probably give me a different answer.
Yeah, it's always different for everybody. So
okay, and then kind of on top of that, do you prefer to do, in the community we have so many different types of songs. We have the about, we have the inspired, we have the point of view type of songs. Inspired, obviously, yeah. I feel like that would give a little more freedom, and I kind of like that a lot of people have started switching to that inspired. Yeah, you take parts and bits and stuff like that, but like for instance, Diggs's latest Gara song, taking Gara's experience as his experience and just going made a very gut-wrenching song.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like it, right? Because I think when you do that and you make a song that, because with me, there are a lot of shows I watch and there are a lot of characters I'm not going to write about. And it's not because they don't have a good backstory, it's because I cannot relate to them. And as an artist who writes these emotional songs or these backstories that kind of pull at your heartstrings or maybe have that like vengeful feeling, bring out a little anger, you have to have a connection. At least me, I have to have a connection to who I'm writing about. And so I like to do them more inspired by. Obviously there's some tracks where if I really like the character, if I really think they're kind of like quirky or interesting, like I will do a more, stick to the story type of song. And I know there's a lot of people out there. I think I was just having a conversation like this with my friends yesterday about how there's a lot of people who really, really like the very specific, stick to the anime kind of songs, because that's, what nerdcore kind of was about. And is about for most artists. But I like to personally have a song where someone can listen to it, because I have a lot of friends who don't watch anime. I'm definitely like the odd man out in my friend group, and I like to make songs that they still like, like they can listen to and be like, oh my god, this is like heart-wrenching, or oh my god, this is like super relatable. and they have no idea who it's about. But then if you have seen the anime, you know exactly what it's about. And in a lot of cases, you can relate to it. And so I think that's why I really like Inspired By, because you can relate. And a lot of people, if you can relate, I'm sure there's a lot of other people that can. And like that's what my music, I want it to be about. I want people to be able to feel like they're not alone, and like just have that relation to not only the character but to me as well.
I absolutely love that answer. I was gonna say, it's one of the things I like is, you know, reacting to, like, because, you know, let's say, you know, somebody pulls out a One Piece song, I ain't gonna know shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it's inspired, you know, even when it's not inspired, it's just straight about 9 times out of 10, it's still a great song, so I just vibe with it anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd probably appreciate it more if I saw the anime, but I still enjoy my time.
Yeah, and you appreciate it still because you can still relate to the certain aspects of the song. You know, like you don't have to know the exact anime to appreciate what this artist is laying down in their song. And I think that's why I've always been really, really into like the inspired tracks. And there's a lot of artists that I don't listen to regularly, but when they release kind of an inspired track, I listen to it more because it's something that I can relate to, and I know that we have like one and the same like in common. So.
I know that's one of the reasons I've been loving kind of Fable's switch, because Fable, Divide, DPS, they all kind of make songs that could just be on the radio.
Exactly.
I mean, so do you. That Pain song.
Oh, God.
Love that Pain song.
I loved working, and as soon as I wrote that, I knew I wanted Kevin on it. Like, there was no one else in my mind. I was like, he's gonna fucking kill this. I want him on this. And I had never worked with him. Well, I had actually just worked with him on a hook for his Piranha Plant song.
Oh.
And I was like, dude, I need to get you on a track. And then this Pain song kind of came in, and I was like, I have to do this with him. This is going to be amazing. So, and I think as an artist, like, you come to find out, especially with artists that you work with, who is going to fit the song the most. And I think that's really part of the creation process, is knowing, you know, knowing your song so good that you know who would be the best on it. Well, and I think that's really important.
It's nice that you bring that up, because it brings up another thing. Because I know Sinewave has told me, because one of my dream collabs, I got one of them this year, which was EMP and DPS. I got one of them. Yeah. My other one is Sinewave and Fable.
Oh, that'd be amazing, yeah.
Oh.
And Sinewave's like, I'm not going to ask him unless I find the perfect beat.
Correct.
Which, when he brought that up, it came back to my head during the Singularity track with Zach B on it, because Zach B does those softer, more somber beats absolute justice. And so it made sense, you know, finding that perfect person for your song. And
yeah.
I mean, the joke back when I first joined was Zach was the sad boy, but
sad boy.
I still call him that all the time. He's got sad boy tracks, and that's why I like it. Like, and in fact, I just sent him I wrote a hook yesterday for my next song coming out, and I sent him a video of me singing it. I'm like, I think I got the sad boy hook down. So it's like, it's a constant term that I use with him just because it's so true. Yeah.
But the thing is, he does them so well. And it's kind of like Game Boy Jones doing kind of like saucy / a little bit adult songs.
Yeah,
it fits.
Yeah.
But that kind of leads to another question: what is your dream collab that if that you haven't done yet, even if it's outside of Nerdcore?
Oh God. God, I never really think about. I mean, there's tons of people. I mean, there's tons of artists that are like, by far. I mean, if it's out of Nerdcore,
you're like, I had it.
It would have to be Brendan Urie. It would have to be.
Okay. I can really see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I absolutely adore him as a person and as an artist, and I have been listening to him
way too long.
It was like my life growing up. I mean, if I go back, I'm like, oh my God, I listen to him so much.
I feel it.
So I'd have to say it'd have to be him.
Okay.
In Nerdcore, that's the thing. I've sang hooks for so many people.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because I always think about it, I'm like, God, I'm still such a small artist. I only have 10,000, but I've done hooks for most people. I think at this point it would be Fable. just because I haven't worked with him on his even when I did the song on Divide's channel, me and him didn't have any communication together. It wasn't like that. So I think working together on a song with him would probably be my next dream collab would be with Fable, and it's only because of the emotion. And I love his genre. I love singing that genre.
Yes.
I just have a hard time creating it because I'm so new to the beat making process. I cannot get that intricate and do it well. So I think getting on one of his songs and Divide, working with Divide is always a dream collab. And he's so fucking picky, and he's even told me, he's like, I just know that I can make your voice sound the best when we're like working together, like in the same room. And it's true, because we went years recording with each other in a studio together. And he's so anal about it. Like he would he'd make me so mad. I would be recording, and without any notice, he would press spacebar and press it again, saying it would stop the track and restart it. And I'm like, what was wrong with that? And he's like, no, you did it wrong, do it again. And like he would get to a point where he wouldn't even tell me, like he would just press it, and as soon as I heard it stop, I'm like, fuck, and I'd have to redo it. And it's true, he like definitely makes it, like he makes me sound, and he's always telling me, he's like I know, I produce you the best, like I could make you sound like a radio pop star artist if I just produced you more. And it's true, he's amazing, he's phenomenal, and he knows me really well in the studio. But because of that, I don't think we're gonna collab very often, because he doesn't have the he doesn't have the faith in me that he would have in himself to make me sound the way that I want when I'm recording. Because I know he's, he'd want to tell me what to do and which lines. He's very precise on his songs, and I totally get it. And now he doesn't really collab with anybody. So if he does collab,
I've noticed that.
He's very picky, and I know he's even told me, he's like, I just feel like you'd have to come and visit, and we'd have to record in my studio.
Well, he's coming back to America, so.
Well, he's already back, so
okay.
It totally could happen, because it's not very far. But that's another one. Anytime I work with Divide, it would be amazing.
Well, I was gonna say Fable hasn't been doing a lot of feature. Well, I mean, he is and he isn't. Like he sticks to a few people, but it seems like every now and then he gets a bug where he just kind of spreads out, and then he recluses back up.
Yeah, and you know what? It might just be, in all honesty, because I've done that. Like I've gone a couple weeks without putting my own song together, but I'll do features. And for me, at least, it's because I kind of get to take a break from that perfectionism inside of me making a whole song for myself. I need like that emotional break, but I don't want to stay away from creativity. So what I'll do is I'll branch out and I'll start featuring on other people's songs, because I still get that fun of like writing and of making it sound like how I want it to sound, but I don't have to go through the whole process and all the pressure of putting this whole song together by myself.
Okay.
And so I think it's kind of like a brain reset for me. Because I still get to do what I love, and I still get to add this amazing art to other people who are making amazing art themselves, but I don't have the pressure on my shoulders of like getting the song done on a timeline.
Okay.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
I think that's a big thing why a lot of artists do that.
Okay, now because you've worked with him, and I hope I can eventually get him on an interview, because I want to ask about his process, because I've heard stories on Twitter. When you worked with DPS, how intricate was that? Because I mean, I've heard stories.
It's a fucking it's an experience. So a lot of people don't know this, but when I recorded that song, the mom song,
which you did creepy
COVID.
really well. Oh, you did.
I had COVID, so I was like, I didn't have I was so fucking tired. I had fatigue. It was while I was laid off, so I didn't have to go to work, which was really nice. I didn't have to go through the whole laying off thing again. I was already laid off when I had it. But I was so tired. My voice was okay, but I had a cough. So whenever I'd go to sing, I would randomly cough and I'm like, fuck, and I'd have to restart, go through my cough attack, and then go again. But it was so funny because what it was the biggest compliment to me. He could have just been lying to make me feel good, but it was the biggest compliment to me when I sent him the hook and he listens to it, because he wants to be in a call with you and listen to what you have. He constantly wants to be on the phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was listening and he's like, oh my God. And I was like, what? What's wrong? He's like, no, this is it. And he's like, I've never done this where I haven't sent it back and said, do something different. He's like, you're the first person that I've ever, like, just, you've nailed it your first try. And it was like the biggest compliment. But and then after that, it was like it was just cake. Like, we flew through it. But then there was one day where I was just like, my ass was kicked. I was so tired. I just wanted to lay down. I thought we had the feature done. I thought it was good. And I'm laying in bed, and it's like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and he calls me on Discord. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, like laying down, like dying from COVID. What are you doing? And he's like, hey, I need you to record something else. And I'm like, okay. So I like came in and I sat down and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? And then I like had to sit at the computer like half dead. Like, he would tell me what to do, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was one of the harmonies or something, or like the bridge. Oh no, I know what it was. It was the part. It was that talking part. Like, no, it was the fucking children part. Children. Like, something was wrong with it, and it was like the slightest thing, and he was like, nope, wrong, gotta do it again. I was like, okay. And so it's really like, it's an amazing experience, but holy shit does he put you to work.
All right.
Like, it's amazing, and the process he goes through, I cannot even describe the man's brain. He has to be a lyrical genius and like a mastermind with music. Just the way he thinks constantly, like he's always got it on his brain. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely, like, if I could wish it upon anyone, I would wish anyone to be able to work with him at least once, to go through that experience, because it really is creating like this masterpiece together, and he wants you to be a part of it the whole time. And there's been like other times where he's wanted me to collab with him. I think there's been 2 songs where like one of them was the Aaron song, where he was like, yeah, I want you on it, it's gonna be me, you, and Shout Out. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, just kidding, it ended up being different and I can't picture you in it anymore. And you're like, okay, that's fine. And then there was the evil Batman,
the Batman Who Laughs. Did he want you to do the chorus, or?
Yeah, so we worked on that chorus for like 4 days, and he's like, yeah, it's just not happening, I'm just gonna get Divide to do it. And it's not an insult, it's just he goes through this like process, and if you don't fit in, like, and he goes through all these things, and it's just,
but he tries to get you to fit.
Yeah.
And if it
doesn't,
okay.
And then even when Divide did it, Divide talked to me, because I was like, man, I feel bad I couldn't do it right, you know. He's like, no, he's like, I think he's like, it was even rough for me to do it. Like, it's just it's just his process. He's just a mastermind. Like, bottom line, he's on a whole nother fucking level. There's a reason that he got like Artist of the Year for the Stevies, because he's on a whole other fucking level. He is
amazing.
Oh, now I at least have a little bit more of an insight. You know, he always says, you know, I'll be on the phone with you. I'm just like,
no, like, you don't get it. Like, it's always like, you will have. And like, I didn't have my Discord notifications like on my phone, because I have so many servers, it just blows up. And so like, I would have like 6 missed calls on Discord, and it would be like in a matter of 30 minutes, and I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. And then I'd call him, and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to reach you, and I'm like, yeah, I know, fuck. Like, it's just, it's a process, but it is like an experience you have to have working with him. And I bet being in a studio with that man is just like mind-boggling. Like, it's gotta be crazy.
So my thought on what, you know, DPS actually spends a lot, you know, what little free time he has between family and music, you know, watching tutorials, listening to podcasts, you know, to improve himself. And, you know, I've tried to do that too. I can't do it. I get bored. I can't watch tutorials unless I'm actively doing something that requires the tutorial.
Yeah.
But
same.
I was gonna ask, like, do you do anything like that? Do you sit there and go, like, you know, do you listen to tips and tricks, basically, on producing, or... Oh, okay.
Can't do it. That's... Divide was like... And I think that's part of the reason I hassled the fuck out of him when we first started, because he's like, just watch the tutorial. And I'm like, no! Like, I'm not doing that! And so I'd call him, and he would be my tutorial. We would FaceTime, and be like, okay, now do this. And then
that's the thing.
Like,
when it's someone you know, it doesn't
like,
feel
bursting about it. I'm the same way. I couldn't. He was like, just watch a tutorial. Like, no, I'm not doing that. No, you're helping me right now. Like, get on FaceTime. But I'm really bad. I mean, I will watch one, but normally I fuck up somewhere and have to ask for advice anyway. So it's just good to have people in your circle, I guess, that
Mhm.
aren't gonna hate you for reaching out to them a million times when you can't figure something out.
Yeah.
So
I haven't
friends are
found
important.
anyone to help me with editing for that because I want to do more stuff to make, you know, the videos kind of pop or just have fun doing editing, but like unless I have an actual goal in mind, I can't sit and actually like just fuck around.
It's rough,
Like,
man.
And
Yeah.
love
I
having
ain't got time
ADHD.
for that. Yeah, I don't have time. And honestly, I mean, I just don't have time for that. I'm like,
Well,
I could be doing something else right now. Like, I could just send this to someone and have them do it. And I just,
Right.
like, if I'm not good at it naturally, it's really hard for me to get good at.
I'm trying to get good at drawing. My brain likes to see progress, and drawing and editing are two things that you don't see immediate progress. And it's just like, if I don't see it, it's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, I feel it for sure. You're not alone.
All right, well, we are wrapping up here, and, you know, I'm going to start asking this kind of question as an ending question. But what are your goals for this year? You know, top 3 or 5 goals for this year for either yourself, your channel, your music?
I'd like to get to 20,000 this year.
I could see it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even if 20,000 doesn't happen, I would like to see at least 15,000 views on my videos, like within like the first 4 weeks, like within the first month I release them.
Okay.
Just because I think that's more important. I want people to have. I'd rather have more views on my videos than more subs. So that's a big one for me. And then I think just I want to learn a new skill. Like I want to learn either editing or maybe I should produce, like start trying to get back into producing just because it would, one, save me money, and two, I would have another skill. But it's hard to reach for right now working full time.
Yeah.
But I would really like to get good at producing or editing and then also have those goals for my YouTube channel as well.
Okay. All very, very respectable goals. I really hope you hit them too. And also, you know, just because I know you're going to be on Cam Steady's new site for this weekend.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that. But do you have any idea when your next song's coming out?
So I just finished my part as well as the hook yesterday.
Okay.
So I have Gustavo mixing that right now. But I have a feature for it.
Okay.
And his name is Sam Sky. Probably no one's heard of him. He's not really in the community. So I found him on TikTok, and I found him because he had a song that was an Aaron and Mikasa AMV, and it was amazing. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you not in Nerdcore? This is stupid. And so I hit him up, and I found his Twitter, and I was like, so I need you on a song. And I'm like, you don't know me, but here's my YouTube channel, and I will pay you whatever you want. Just get your voice on my track. And if you have time afterwards, please check him out because he is phenomenal.
I will do that.
And he does.
Send me the name on
record.
Discord.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
send me
will.
the name. Yeah.
In fact, after this interview, I'll probably make you listen to him with me on your cam still. So
Okay.
Perfect.
But yeah, so he's amazing. So he's gonna be getting his feature done hopefully this weekend, and then we can hopefully have it out next weekend. So
Cool.
Sweet.
hoping for next weekend, and it will be a Cowboy Bebop song on Julian Spike. So it's gonna be super sad. So prepare. But yeah, so it should be coming out next weekend.
All right.
And then I have quite a few features in the next coming weeks. So
Okay. Multiple features. All right.
you'll see me around.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here. And again, thank you for doing this. It means a lot to us. I know you were one of the earlier subscribers, so.
I've always, like I said, I really, 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 really appreciate our like reactors, no matter how big or small they are, because it is so not only important, but it is just so like joyful watching you guys react to our songs. Like I love it so much. So I'm really glad that you guys reached out to me because this is fun. For sure.
I mean, I know Shabati said during the Stevie's like, yeah, you just don't realize like when a reaction drops, we're all like, dude, reaction.
Yeah, it's true. Like we want to see it, and it's not. It's so funny. My boyfriend's like, "Are you just watching people react to your song?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I want to know what they think. Like, get away, don't judge me." Like, and he's like, "God, you're so full of yourself." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just really want to see if they like it or hate it." Like, and it's because it's just so like this is stuff that we work really hard for. You know what I mean? And seeing people take time out of their day to just react to it is just fucking phenomenal. Like, It lights up all of our days for sure. It definitely does. So
I'll keep
thank
that in
you.
mind.
Yeah, you're appreciated.
So if you are watching this and you have not subbed to Sailor yet, what are you doing? Just go do it.
Oh,
Do it. It's SailorUrLove. It's
Yes.
everything, and it was SailorUrLove music, but I actually changed it in the beginning of the year, so it's just SailorUrLove now.
Nice.
And it's on YouTube. I also have a Twitch, SailorUrLove. My Twitter is also SailorUrLove. It's literally the
Simple.
fucking same on every
Simple.
platform. Find it.
And yeah, so thank you for watching another interview, and again, thank you again, Sailor.
Cool.
And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, week, month, year, and life, and overall have a good one.
Yep.
Peace.
Bye.